everybody. AOG Gaming here, back with another video on Dislyte. Um, so I've just been watching videos, just of people posting their videos because it's fun. And also it's informative for me because I don't always cover stuff that they're covering, or sometimes they cover stuff that I forgot to cover, like just things like that. So it's really nice. But yeah, one thing that I have been getting very clear from messages from other YouTubers, like Zaxus Kun, Free to Play Daddy, like just the bigger Dislyte people. I forgot his name. It starts with G something. G Rex, no, G runs something like that. G Jazz or whatever his name is. So they're making a point very clear, and I 100% agree with them. Because I'm basically at that point right now where I messed up because I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and really it was just because I was in the early part of this fight. Like, yes, I kind of did what I was supposed to, but then there's a weird mechanic where you could sacrifice. Like, I have to explain it. So the message. So let's just get that straight through so that everyone knows what we're talking about. Is at the beginning and just throughout playing the game, you don't have to rush for legendaries. Yes, getting legendaries is really good for your account because one, they're the strongest units in the game. They have the most complicated and best synergies when you build them well, and well, they're the coolest characters in the game usually because they're the legendaries, and they're the ones that are given the most care and rebalance sometimes. So, just something to keep in mind. That's just how the game works. The legendaries are better because they're the legendaries. Rarer characters to get. They're more expensive technically if you're just paying to get them. So just keep that in mind. Um, yeah, so you don't have to rush for one. So there's quite a few reasons for that. So for one, at the beginning, you already get one legendary, and you'll probably max them out in like 3 weeks, maybe a month. Because you don't get a lot of legendary Billimons at the beginning, and he's a legendary Esper. He's going to take a lot of flow records, epic, common, and legendary flow records sorry, not flow records. What are they called? Um, what's the wrong button? They're going to take a lot of materials to max out. Waves, sorry. So flow waves, it's going to take a lot of basic, epic, and legendary flow waves just to max out some Wukong, or any other. Um, I guess it's not flow for him; it's a wind wave. But yeah, any Esper that you're gonna max out that's legendary, they're gonna take a lot of materials. So actually, let's see how much it costs. So you can. I don't know if I can actually show you. Well, let's go to Valeria because she's level 50 only. So I think it's like 15, 20, and then it's split here between epic and basic, and then epic and basic again. Oh, no, now it's legendary and epic. Yeah, and then legendary epic. So it takes a lot of materials. That's just my point. And it's a lot of different types of materials too. You need gold. You need not a lot of gold, but you need gold. You need experimons, and you need starmions just to get them to max level 60. It doesn't even matter for the resonance, just to max them out, and then upgrade them, of course. So yeah, it just takes a lot of materials to max out a legendary Esper, and part of the problem is that the legendary Billimons and epic legendary Starmions are much harder to get, specifically in early game. They're still hard to get late game, but they're a little bit easier because that's the only way to progress your account. So they've given you some options, especially like the best way to get them, I would say, for early game would be as if you're maxing out Apollo and Haiti. Like, try and get them as fast as possible because you get free. Well, not the first copy, but um, you get free fusions basically, and you also get a legendary Starmion for every fusion. So you can get 12, because you get 7 copies of each, so you can R6 them. So yeah, you get 12 legendary Starmions just from basically getting 2 free R6 legendary Espers. Mind you, Haiti, Camille, is really good at a lot of stuff, like just PvE in general. PvP, she's okay. Apollo is great in PvP and PvE. He's great in tower content. He's an insanely good controller, and Camille is really good at R6. We kind of have to get her to R6. Apollo doesn't have to be at R6, but Lucas Apollo, whatever you want to call him, is like insanely broken at R6. Like you guys have seen my speed AP comp with TA, um, Ashley and Lucas together on the same team with Havid so that they can have that extra damage buff for the AoE, some extra defense downs, um, and then of course Ahmed to heal everybody. But yeah, you can basically get 12 legendary Starmions from here. So maxing out those legendary Espers at the beginning will be a little bit easier for the first two because you can get a lot of Starmions. I would say the first two copies of each one. So you can get up to like 5 or 6, I would say, Starmions before you have to basically get them from elsewhere because it just takes a while to get the higher fusions because there's a lot harder requirements that require you to actually like delve into the game, build characters, specific characters, not specific, but like a general group of characters that work well in this type of content. So that's just something to keep in mind. So yeah, just like Zaxis Kun and Daddy, free to play Daddy, are all saying, when you start at the game, it's not about the legendary espers. For me, my count is because I'm at the point where I can get at least three. I made a mistake of saying I can get one per update. That's just the new espers. I'm not talking about just normal draws and getting fusions and just random espers. Because of course, Pan and Gabriel that I got, sorry, Ethan and Gabriel that I gotta use their esper or their god names. I keep interchanging them. So Ethan and Gabriel, I got both of them just because I was drawing to get enough wish stones so that I could get Valeria, and that's why I got them. But there's still legendaries that I got, and they're still on my account. So that's the reason why I have so many legendaries. And I'm not getting one per update. I'm getting around 3 or 4. I think it's 4 actually, because I got a copy on Intezar. I think for some of the wish stones. Yeah, because I have it at R1. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. You don't need to rush for legendaries because the epic espers you're gonna lead them late game anyway. So excuse me. Moving on to our second part of the video is the part on where my count is kind of messed up because I definitely messed up. So I kind of just went for legendaries, which is fine. You know, you can do that, but it's not the most optimal way because there are a lot of epic espers that you can build faster, easier, and resonance them like insanely quick. Because like you can get epics a lot easier. You can get at least one epic per draw. Um, per 10 draws. Sorry, not per draw. So it's not that hard to get, but you know, sometimes you get just rares and that sucks. But yeah, so I mean, you guys have seen my count for the most part. I do have some epic espers maxed out, but that's mostly been recent. And like I said before, it was because of the like 10, 20, 10, 15 updates ago. Like it was a really long time ago. You could sacrifice your epic espers to like use them like starmions basically to star up your legendary espers. So it was just something to keep in mind back then that I shouldn't have done that, but I did because I was like, oh well, I can just get full 6-star legendary espers. Why don't I just do that? Which was fine because I had five espers, but it wasn't good because now I can't use those units, and I'm actually trying to use them now. So, except for Alexa, I don't really use her. But I still maxed her out because I needed to get her to max out Apollo, and I do use Apollo pretty often. So, because he's really the only reliable AP and stun that I have. I don't have Sienna. I do have TA, but when I use TA, I use Apollo anyway because they just go so well hand in hand. Um, yeah, and that's just pretty much it. Like I could give a character AoE character just stun gear, but it doesn't work as well unless they already have stun chance in their kit because then it just makes it basically guaranteed, which is so nice. Um, so yeah, so I have Jiangmian maxed out, like all her abilities, everything are six. So she is solid. I've used her in Celestial Nom. Like I've used her. She's really good. Like she's one of the most solid AOE espers, who is also a controller that you can just use. Yes, she's a fighter technically, but she can silence, and that is so good. Specifically with Zong Nan. So that's also why I maxed him out, because I had him. Well, I do only have him R1, but I saw that he does increase ability cooldown, so that's insane. So yeah, this will be very good. And then he dispels buff. So the silence is good, and then he gives himself AP. And also when this ability is on, okay, yeah, so I have to use this ability well second. But yeah, Jiangman is just good. Not just for the silence, but they take five, or no, not five hits. So she attacks three times here, and then she attacks two random enemies. But then she counterattack. So her counterattack is so good. Um, yeah, because she basically guarantees another bloom. I mean, it's not guaranteed. It's, yeah, it says inflicts another bloom. So yeah, it's basically guaranteed. They can resist. I think there's a way to resist it if you have like 100% resist, and you're of the stronger, the superior faction, the one that's against. So what is that? Wind? No, I think it's Inferno, right? No, no. Wind is strong against flow. Flow is strong against fire, and fire or Inferno is strong against wind, right? Okay, whatever it is. um, I, and she inflicts Nether Bloom anyway, so she's, but it's not gonna matter because they already have Nether Bloom. So, but it's good if you put Avatari on her, because then she will do that. So she is just pretty solid. Um, let's see who else. So there's not gonna be gameplay in this video. Just FYI, guys, and ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. Um, I'm just talking about the espers that I have, and first of all, specifically, what people should be doing as they're going forward. Because I did an account review last video, and that was mostly just to show you guys like the espers I've collected and how I've been ignoring most of the units that are insanely good. That I have, some of them are six, so it's just something that I have to keep in mind. So really, I'm at a good spot now for me, because yes, I didn't max out all these epic espers, but I'm at the point where I can basically max out three different espers, to level 60 R6, everything, the whole shebang. Um, that's a funny thing to say. Just because I am collecting a decent amount of records. Sorry, not records, waves. Whatever these things are called. Wait, sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. Um, yeah, with these wave things, what are they called? Yeah, flow waves, advanced, elite. Yeah, whatever. I don't know what. Okay, yeah, basic, advanced, and elite. Because I basically have to grind. Just grind this and ritual miracle a few times to get um the missions up, so I can get all this, like diamonds. You get, sorry, not diamonds, Nexus crystals. You get X stamina. You get what are these called again? Something records, memory records. Dang it, I forgot what they're called. Um, but yeah, you just collect this, and then also you get the Esper puzzle pieces that you do for the club. I forget what they're called. Tickets. What are they called again? Wind wish sticker. There we go. Sticker. I already done it to myself, sadly. Okay. So yeah, there's stickers that you get, and you should just do it anyway, because it gives you more stickers so that you can give more to your club mates and stuff like that. But yeah, that's really the only reason. Um, like, not the only reason. It's the only thing that you get from this. Really, it's not that important, but it is nice because you get more of these Sorry, what are they called? I really hate how it doesn't freaking tell me what it's called. I have to go over here and just look for it. It's so retarded. I apologize for using that word. I did not mean it in the offensive sense. Um, God damn it, what are they called? Oh, I can just click it up here. Memo chips. Oh God, I kept thinking memory. My brain is just not working right now. Um, yeah, so the memo chips, because you can use them to blitz pretty much everything in the trials. So Sonic Rift, Sonic Miracle, Ritual Miracle, um, and this stuff does you can't blitz, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so you just use it to blitz, and Sundays are the best because you have all of the factions open. But yeah, you kind of just blitz here and there and collect your daily stuff. And I do it because I do daily stuff because you get extra Nexus crystals, memo chips, so you can keep blitzing. You get wish stickers so that you can donate to your club members more and just to yourself more, so you can keep the process or continue it or at least speed it up if you're not doing it so already. Um, and then just keep the flow of legendary espers on your account coming, which is good because you want to keep pushing your account so that you can keep clearing content and hopefully clear it all. So all you're doing now is maxing out equipment, maxing resonances out, and finishing up all the espers that, well, you're probably like the rare espers that you're never going to use, or at least like you don't have a use for them, but you can like use them when you have them maxed out, and you're just going to use them for fun because they're there in the game and they're still useful, but they're very niche. Some of them, like very specific team comps, so it becomes less useful for like general play, but like for specific things, they're so nice because they do that one thing very well. But yeah, so definitely don't max out your espers, legendary espers, as fast as you can. Do it at a leisurely pace first, so that you can get all the materials for them. And if you really need to max out a legendary esper, you will have the available material because you do it leisurely first, and you don't use the legendary espers. You max out the epics first because those are still going to be useful, and then you can start maxing out the legendaries when you get them, just like slowly, because eventually you'll get a legendary esper that's going to be really good for your account just at R0, and you're going to want to max that legendary esper immediately so that you can start using it to clear more content, push further, and get more currency rewards, everything, so that you can continue your account. So yeah, it really just, you go leisurely. And right now I'm just like zeroing, like I'm just taking all my inventory and using it on all these legendary espers because I'm at the point where, well, they're updating the game too, so they're adding new reso pools, which is going to be insanely good because now I'll be able to choose legendary espers, which one I want to max out. And there's like so many pools now that it basically guarantees that if I don't want to get a new esper, which I am going to want to, I'm probably going to, and I won't be using any of those pools really until later, because right now I'm just in the collection phase where I just really need to collect all the espers as possible because I can already like max out espers. So right now, um, well, I just had three espers to max out because I, so I'm a little short on materials because I got a lot of stuff to my account. So I got Gabrielle, so I maxed her out instantly, so I was able to, and this is great for me because I need her on my account, for speed cleave and just insanely good support. And also, she hits three times and twice, so it's up to six times, which is really good for any Sonic Rifts or content that has enemies with shields that mitigate all damage, but they take a hit or something to take off. Because the multi hit just means that the more espers I have, the more damage I can pull through once I get rid of those shields. Um, then of course we got Pan, which again, insanely useful to my account. I'm so happy I pulled. Like I pulled Gabriel and I was like, okay, this is really good. And then I pulled Pan and I was like, oh, we're golden now. Now I have all the immunity and speed and defense I need to basically speed cleave everything. um, I do have to R2 Ethan so that he can be insanely good. But yeah, he gives crit rate, crit damage, speed, immunity. Like it's just so good. And then his whole thing where he receives AP boost if he has Magic Tune. When the enemy receives an AP boost, he only gains 50% of it. But this is so broken because literally every speed comp uses this, unless you're using Ollie, because that's more of a speed cleave, like damage dealing, less on the speed, more on the cleave. But a lot of comps use TA, but now it won't matter because she's decreasing AP, but she also gains AP. But then this is going to give Ethan the ability to gain AP, and he can also do it for your whole team on R6. But of course, it has to be R6, I believe, right? Or is it R2 or R6? No, because R2 is, yeah, they just gain Magic Tune at the start of combat. Yeah, so it's R6. Yeah, it's for all allies. So she's really broken at R6 because he just counters Ashley. He counters um, yeah, when you're speed cleaving, because you're dealing damage against them. So if you deal a crit, they will gain some AP, but you'll gain 50% of it. So they'll only gain 5% AP per character, because that's how Ashley's Rainbow Bridge works. Um, yeah, here, actually, let's just pop over to it real quick. We're running a little short on time, but I think we can squeeze in some explanation. Um, but yeah, so when an ally is attacked by crit hit, increases allies AP by 10%, but then it'll be 5% because your allies are all getting 1% of that AP, which is actually much better because Ashley is only doing it incrementally per Esper, whereas Pan will just give it to your entire teammates spread across, which is insane. Um, and then the immunity for 2 turns is really good because you pair him up with R0 Gabrielle as well, and now you have basically infinite immunity if you use them at the right, if you use their ultimates at the right time and spaced out, obviously. And then the panic gaze thing is just broken. Like I don't really have to explain that. Increases ability cooldowns when the panic gaze debuffs on their teams are removed. Deals true damage when they use basic abilities, and they have to use it to remove panic gaze. Yeah, and it's just gonna suck for them. Yeah, because it'll just increase their all ability cooldown. So either they use their basics and they take damage, or they use, well, they can't. So they try and use their ultimates and they can't because it gets ability cooldown. So they have to use their basics. So yeah, it's real. And then the defense down is just a plus on top. Um, yeah, and then his first ability, which is 20% AP, which is interesting. It goes up to 80% chance of inflicting minus 20 AP, which is pretty good. And they can't be resisted because he will but Magic Tune is only, yeah, for 2 turns. Really, having him at R2 would be nice because I wouldn't have to use this until later. Because that second proc, whenever an enemy receives an AP boost, it's just a passive, I believe. And it only triggers once per turn. But I think that's just a passive. Because a lot of abilities are like that. They have a small little passive exert, and then the rest of it is just like the activated part of the ability. And it goes down to a 4 turn cooldown, which is really good. Like if you get some good RNG on upgrading his abilities, you can pretty much just cycle Magic Tune and Immunity for pretty much the entire game. Immunity if you have Gabrielle, but by himself you're gonna have to use Ocean Wave set, obviously. But yeah, very good for my account because I'm using him right now. He's really good on PvP at higher resonances, but still really good at low resonances. And yeah, and then I had Valeria. So that's the last Esper I maxed out. So Valeria, I didn't max her out. I only got her to 50 because I don't need her right now. She doesn't do much on my account, and I don't have her R2, so she's not supporting my entire team. So I really don't have a use for her. However, I will say she's going to be insanely good for me because I have a lot of speed cleave, and she fits well into that meta because she gets extra damage per speed. She has a nuke. She has a nuke ultimate, and she has a passive effect that gives damage resist or reduces damage taken to all of your allies. Of course, it's weird how it works because she gains a lot of AP Um, I think when you yeah when it ends, right, she gains 20. Yeah, so she gains a lot of AP, so it's hard to uh do it properly because most of the time she'll just be attacking whenever she wants, basically, which is fine if you're trying to speed cleave because she will just do an insane amount of damage over time, and then reduce the enemy's AP just ridiculous because she's hitting so many times. It's atrocious. Yeah, but I can't. I don't have like a good. I don't have gear for her yet. I haven't built any of these Australia sets because I don't have characters that really use them, except for maybe Camille. But I almost have her R6, so I think just getting her to R6 would be better than just using the Australia set. Um, but yeah, so that's why it's taking me a while to max out this Esper. So I'm maxing out Dai Yi Lui, and I was doing Sander also because I've been using him in APEP, and he's been pretty decent so far. He let me clear 13. I have to clear 14 now, and then I can finally do shadow stuff. So I can finally get Odette, and then we can get another Esper. Um, I was doing Luo Yan for a little bit. So I'm getting most of my epic espers to at least level 50 and max ascension when there are six, so that when I have the ability to max them out, when I'm not maxing out any of the legendaries, because really I'm trying to max out the legendaries just because that's mostly what I use. I don't really use the epics unless it's for like Celestial Nami, very specific things that I need to use them, and mostly only if there are six because that gives me the most maximization. Some of them you can use them at R2 or R4 because they're just better. That's the resonance that they're not the best at, but they're the most. They give you the most for that resonance level. Um, so yeah, I think now that most of these are six, I'm trying to max them all out because yeah, these guys are all at level 50. I just have to ascend Longmian. But yeah, I maxed out Luoyan, Sander, Stuart, and Koharu. Like same with Pritzker. Like just espers that I can use in comps that I can max out eventually. So I'm close to maxing them out, but there's a few that I have on the line, like Doser as well. Like just these like for Sander, Doser, and what's her name? Aphrodite, you need them to max out Apollo anyway, so you kinda have to max them at least get them to level 50, Ascension 5, and 5 stars. So you have to at least get them to that level. But yeah, I didn't max them out further than that because I have other espers that do just as well as them. But now that I'm getting into like the further part, like harder compositions, it turns out that epic espers are very good at what they do because they're very specific. Legendary espers are more broad, which is why they're better because you can put them with other characters that are also broad, and then they cover each other so well that it's much better than just having one esper that does this thing very well and then this thing very well, because then you lose that esper and then your entire team falls apart. um, but you can still build really well with epic espers. It's not they're still useful in late game. So I definitely messed up on that part. Because I told you guys just because with this um that I got like some of these placements are messed up because again, like I said, I did use them some epic espers as star meons like I don't know how long, a year ago maybe. Like this is so long ago. Maybe not. I don't think I started playing. Maybe. But yeah, because like Artemis, I'm pretty sure I had her 5 star, and I did not have her at R6 obviously, but yeah, I kind of sad that I ate her up because now I've been using her for Sonic Rift because the shield thing is really annoying. It's like 7 shields, so you have to attack the enemy 7 times before they take any sort of damage or get stunned or whatever. So it's really annoying. So you gotta. It's not that annoying, but it's annoying when you don't have the right characters built, which is where I'm at. So I'm just trying to warn you guys because I'm in a situation where I have to start maxing out all my epics, and it's not bad where I'm at. It was a little bit worse, like maybe 10 levels ago when I was like level 70. because I just did not have the materials for them. So I was just like kind of stuck while I was maxing out my legendaries. And like on the side, I was doing some epics, and then it slowly added up, and then I was able to get more epics, and now I can basically do it consistently. It's still a lot because you only have to use epic abilimons, but you still have to use legendary starmions to get them to level or get them to 6 star. So it still takes a decent amount of starmions because those are easier to get than legendary abilimons, but they're not easier than you think. They're still pretty hard to get. But yeah, so I really have to build her up so that I can use her consistently and we can call it done. Do I even have her? I don't even have her ascension up. See, this is what I'm talking about. So like if I had her maxed out like I did before, she would be. I mean, it's only 10% 10% AP, but whatever. And then Hermes too. Like I could max him out. I never had him before, but yeah, I'm gonna do the R6s first because well, they're R6s. They're gonna be much more useful to me. And yeah, this is just acquired, so now we should just go back to level. But yeah, the main message of this video, just like everyone else is saying, just to wrap it up, hopefully, you don't need to rush on the legendary espers. Yes, they're powerful. Yes, they're cool. Yes, they're useful. Yes, they're gonna bring your count the furthest, but they're not gonna do it the most efficiently and fastest. And it's gonna be a little bit more frustrating for you because you're not gonna be getting as good scores and going as far as you want in content because the legendary espers are at R0 and they're not the best they can be, whereas the epic espers are at R6 and you don't have them maxed out so you can't use them. But if you did have them, then they would be much better than using those legendary espers. And it's also gear, like it also depends on your gear, but you can your gear can pretty much like you just have to grind a lot of gear and eventually you'll get lucky because it'll eventually drop a piece of gear that you really need to use or that is really useful. And if you consistently do it, you'll eventually get enough pieces that you can basically make a comp around equipment, which is what I like. Of course that's really late game, but it's just something to keep in mind. You don't have to focus a lot on equipment until um, later because for the most part you can use the quick equip button and it'll pretty much give the best gear you have open or available to that esper. I do give warning when using this because you want to start out with like the bulk of your team or like the pillars of your team so that they don't die as fast because sometimes you don't have the equipment maxed out so it doesn't give them as good stats as you want, specifically health and defense, because you want those characters to live and last more specifically. Because if they die too fast, you can't use them properly. Um, which is why you go for the pillars of your team, like the essential characters that you need to stay alive. And then usually it's support, like healers, revivers, or tanks, because they will take the brunt of the damage or will heal the brunt of the damage or protect for the brunt of the damage, whatever the case is. Um, and then you go for the later characters. You use this button. Otherwise, you can do it yourself. You press the button and then you can change the gear how you want and build them how you want. I advise doing that more, starting earlier, because it really gets your mindset into building compositions and how important gear is in that. So I do say try and practice that as early as possible. But if you're just trying to, like, if you have a good team, you have a good team and you have gear for them, you can just quickly click this button and make sure, like, you can check beforehand, check their stats to make sure it's good. Just double check, and you can pretty much do it quickly so that you can finish your content real quick and then get your rewards quickly, and then you can move on with your life. So really, it's more for efficiency and to decrease the amount of time you're spending building and fighting. But if you're trying to go for more specific, and if you don't have the right gear, which I say at the beginning is more of it, you want to build them yourselves so that you get the right compositions. But the AI is pretty solid at doing its job, basically doing what you would do. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, so like I said, don't rush the legendary espers. I definitely wish I had. I only have five, six epic espers maxed out, and two of them are not R6. Um, four of them are, which is nice because now I can just use the max. Like Azure Dragon has been so good. Zhao Yan has been so good for Chronos. I basically used him in Chronos, and his ultimate is so broken against Chronos because the AP reduction is insane. Because Chronos is one of the enemies you can use AP effects against. Um, and yeah, AP reduction is so broken against him. Yeah, and he has stealth too, so he doesn't get targeted. He is R6 and level 60, so he does have a decent amount of HP, but he is a fighter, so he does not have a lot of HP. So it is good that he has invisibility, so that you can just put all of his stats into really just damage, because your healers can take care of the rest. So damage, speed, I guess crit damage. Of course, I have his equipment off right now, but I had I had this equipment on him because I don't think I had his abilities max when I was using him, but now I do, so he can rotate a lot better. But yeah, that's the overall arcing message of this video. Don't rush legendaries. Yes, they're awesome. Yes, they're cool. Yes, they're useful, like I've said. But epics are going to be a lot better. This is my warning to you guys. Just look at my account. Yes, I'm still progressing. I'm still doing fine, but I could be doing a lot better. I feel like I would be probably finishing all of these ritual miracle trials pretty easily. Fafnir, I'm on 15, and APEP, I haven't done 14, but I cleared 13 pretty easily with the team that I built. So I think I'll be able to do 14 just barely. And then Fafnir, I don't know about clearing 16, but at least I can clear 14 on APEP so that I can start trying to grind for Odette in the Desolate Lands. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, this is AOG Gaming here. If you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. Really shows your support. Helps me out, keeps you up to date with my content. 98 subscribers and going strong last time I checked. So you guys are amazing. Keep going. So close to 100. And yeah, I'll have more videos for you guys. Don't worry. But it's gonna be a little bit slow. Not for now, but next week I think, because I have a lot going on next week. But tomorrow I have stuff going on, so I might not be able to post tomorrow, but we'll see. Otherwise, I will see you guys Saturday because I don't have a lot going on. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys later.